Okay, and I'm not going to paint these pink. Okay, here are this week's pieces. They are end tables that I currently use. Now, I did not paint these. I purchased these long ago, actually from overstock.com. And a long time ago, actually. It was one of the first like artistic painted pieces that I had ever seen up close. In other words, up close online. It has some kind of faux finish on it. And this is antiquing of a sort. They are starting to chip on their own. So this has to be taken off. But bamboo, which is what these accessory pieces are, bamboo is notorious for not accepting paint. So yeah, I have one on each side of my sofa. And my other house used to have a lot of teal in it, and I still have quite a bit of teal, but my main color here is pink. And I'm not going to paint these pink. I'm actually going to paint them light. And when I say light, I mean a blend of off-white and some other colors, and I'm not absolutely sure yet. Oh, also, these knobs were replaced by me because I thought they were pretty and kind of zhuzhed it up a little bit, and I'm going to remove those, and I'm going to do a different knob. So again, you can see that the bamboo is chipping. So we're going to have to take care of that. I am working in the house, or maybe that isn't bamboo. I actually am not 100% sure. I'm not going to do a lot of prep with these. I'm using chalk paint. So I am going to remove those chips as much as I can. I'll do a very soft scuff sand on them, and then we'll start applying some paint. So yeah, let's get started. So I was cleaning it, and I did break one of these. This goes inside here, and yeah, somehow here I have to figure out which direction it fits and then see if I can, yeah, fit it back in. I think, yeah, I don't want to glue it until, and the only glue I have here is this, you know, the really fast acting glue, crazy glue kind of a thing. So I think it goes this way, and oh yeah, there we go. But I want to dry fit it first to make sure that it's going to fit in there. And it's really tight. It makes me wonder if it wasn't broken before. And this isn't bamboo or anything, it's plastic. So I'm going to set it like this, and then, because that's the direction it's going to fit together. And then I'm going to raise it up and put a little glue in here. And let me see if I can use a piece of tape to assist me so it's not falling. I just want to make sure I don't drop this. I think the glue is gone, so let's try this one. Hopefully one of these will work. Okay. Get that glue off my hands as quickly as I can. Okay. And that's alcohol. Yeah, we'll just let that dry. It'll dry really fast. And I'm just going to clean up around here. What I did was I tried to chip off as much as possible the very loose parts of it. So I'll probably go around and just do a little bit more just to make sure that I have all the most loose pieces off. And this is not for resale. And it's really, when I look at it, although it works really well, and I paid a lot of money for them, they're not the greatest quality, obviously. I mean, the drawers work really well, and it's really solid, but it's made out of plastic and MDF. So I'm going to do as good a job as I can. I may not get all those chips off. We'll see. But yeah, I'll do the best I can. Now, if I had this in my shop, what I would do, here's what I would suggest doing with a piece of furniture like this if you have it. Get your regular Bondo, wood fixing, wood repair Bondo, or, the two-part epoxy, anything like that. And go over it with a thin layer of the two-part epoxy. Go over the whole thing and try to maintain your design, with the little turnings, if you will. And that will protect it, and it will keep your furniture for a while. It's probably not going to keep it forever, but I'm thinking that would help greatly. So yeah, let me finish chipping off a little bit more, and we'll start doing our paint. Although I'm going to start from the bottom, I'm not really going to paint underneath. And I'm not going to paint every single corner and surface at the top either. I'm just going to go around the outside on that extended part of the lip. And I'll show you a little bit closer. You see where the fingerprint is. I don't know what that is. It's just from whatever they used for doing a glaze or whatever. I am going to go over this part, but not this. This is just going to remain the same. So yeah, I am stippling it on because I will get some texture, where I have all these chips and everything. I just want the paint to be friendly to the surface. And yeah, so I'm not being that careful. I'm trying not to get any here. But if I do, I will wipe it off. I have my mister. And it's going to need a few coats. I'm going to do this, a coat on the legs here. Actually, I'm going to do a couple of coats. So I'm going to let this dry, and I'm going to do a second coat, and then I will flip it up so I can work on the top side. And I'll catch up with you in a bit. And so I painted one uh, side table already. And what I realized as I was doing it is uh, the space in here is so small that my brushes, they just don't fit. So I ended up having to get a long-handled artist brush and kind of work like this. And every time I was making a swipe with paint inside, it was hitting the back wall, which I had already painted. And so I kept marking it up. And even the chip brushes, I suppose I could cut it, which I might do. I have a saw here, and just a hand saw, and I can take it and I can cut that. Yeah, so when I do it this time on this cabinet, I'm going to paint the spindles and the supports on the side here and get all of this painted before I do this back wall on this side. So it should be easier to do this one than it was the other one because I had to keep going over it and over it. So I'll give you a close-up. Yeah. And you have to stick your head inside here to see the backing of these little posts, these spindles, and it's really hard. And so, yeah, let me try cutting one of these chip brushes and seeing if I can do it more easily. I'm going to do that off camera. This is from where the creek has been diverted underneath the hillside. As we're driving along the North Shore Trail, making our way towards District Kendra, we see a lot of trees that were blown down. They were big trees and they were all in the same direction. Since they were all blown in the same direction, they were twisted. This was damaged from straight line winds instead of tornado. Still, we made our way out the gravel road and on the dirt and a little more technical area. This in no way was difficult, but it was a good change from the gravel and dirt that we've been on in the last little bit. Part of the waterfall, and it looked like a perfect place to stop and check it out. Once we got there, we looked around a little bit, I'm going to do a little bit of a blend around here and here and here. It's very hard to get in there. I'm making a mess. And then I have just a third brush for blending.
Some of the employees at Alaska Overlander told us about the civil rights part here with Alaska when they had to stop and get their help.
I'm not using a lot of water. Not a lot of room, trying to work with the camera and get that blend. Just add a little fresh paint. I mainly just want you to see that I'm just feathering it together. And this is my first round of blending with this, so it's casual. I'm just laying down the paint. Come up a little higher. And I don't know if you can see right here. I'm going to do this side. Now, I also want to do a bit of a blend on these turnings as well. So, but I am going to do it, I'm not going to make it any wetter, but what I am going to do is I'm going to take the white paint, and I'm only doing the front. I just want a bit of a shadow. And so I'm just putting a little bit of the white paint across that knuckle, if you will, and just making it just a little bit damp. And I'm going to take the artist brush and do just a dab across it. That's all I want. Right. Just a bit of a shadow. That's all. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to take the white paint and I'm just going to freshen that turning and take a little bit of the, I'm sorry, I keep moving the camera. Take a little bit of this pink paint. That's it. Touch that up where I got the white paint on, and that's, I'm going to do that all the way around the sides. Yeah. I'm going to use a clear satin polyacrylic to do the tops first. And while the tops are drying, I'm going to work on something else because I'm going to do a stencil on the top, and I want to have a nice finish on there before I do any stenciling. That way, if I make a mistake with the stencil or I change my mind on placement or whatever, I can just easily wipe it off, or more easily wipe it off. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm also going to use a little dampened sponge. I'm just putting just a little bit of a mist on that. This will give it a nice finish with the sponge. It won't leave any streaks at all. And I'm going, from one end to the other. I'm trying to go slow. I do move fast, but I'm trying not to create bubbles. The faster you go, the more bubbles you'll get. And this has a nice long open time. And it's water-based, so I can wash it off with soap and water, off my sponge and off my hands. Okay, and then we'll let that dry. I decided that I'm going to decoupage the sides, and I think that will be pretty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure from inner surface, which is about 11.75 by 20. 11.75 by 20, and I need 4 pieces that somewhat match. Gee, I hope I have enough here. If I don't, I'm going to have to go back up to the barn. I'm going to have to go back to the barn. Hold up. I keep my decoupage right here, so I have to dig through it. I'll be right back. So here's the third one in the series. And let me make sure there's not a fourth, just in case. Okay, I was able to get 4 pieces 4 sides out of 3 sheets of decoupage paper. And here's my first sheet. And it's a little oversized, but I'm going to cut around the edge once I have it all dry. And I have the, it's matte decoupage gel from Aleene's. And I'm going to start at the top. And I'm just going to do a small section. And I'm going to get the very top started. This paper you have to be careful with because it does tear. So you can lift it up, but it's going to leave some of its backing on the surface. So you really want to be careful. Yeah, and I am let's see if I can get you here. And so I have it going right up to the top, and there's a little edge right here I have to cut with the razor. Okay. I'm just going to make a few corners before I get all my edges down so that I'm not struggling. There we go. Chip brush, and I'm just going to press it down with this, just gently. My sharpest razors are in the barn. So there's that. Okay, so let me go up and begin putting more decoupage gel down. Yeah. I can lift it a little bit, but I can't lift it a lot. And for that reason, I'm going to go right to the bottom with the decoupage gel. So, this placement, not placement, but the technique has to be just a little bit different with this paper. And could I make a mistake? Yep. I'm going to try not to, though. I'm going to try to get plenty, although not too much, decoupage gel all over my surface. And once that surface is dry, with the paper down and adhered very nicely, then I can add more gel to the top. And you have to be careful because this paper tears really easily. So I don't want to mess with it too much. Okay, I can see a little bit of the gel coming out the edges, which is good. I'm going to do a little stenciling on the top. I have a box, and I have some, is it Home Decor? It's kind of like the Waverly. It's a different name, though. It's a different brand, but you can get it. I think you can get this at Walmart or Amazon. And this color is metallic gold. And I haven't used it before. This is the first time I'm using it. So yeah, I'm going to stencil with this color. Now I don't need a lot of paint. I'm just going to put, you know, a little bit of paint on my box. And even though I've stirred it up a lot, it seems pretty tacky. So that's good. I'm going to leave the fork in there. Put it over here. And I have a damp sponge. Okay. And I don't want to have a lot of material on it. I am going to use this smooth side so that I have a good grip on it. And it looks like there's paint on there, but I think the paint has dried. Oh, let me use this side right here. It's a nice flat surface. I'm going to dip it in and get it covered, but I'm also going to tap it off on the other side. I don't want very much material on my sponge, so tap it off. And I have the placement of my stencil right here, and I think that's a good place for it. I don't mind if this is, I mean, I don't want the paint to run underneath, but I don't mind if this is a bit on the light side. And I'm going to just take a look at it without moving it. Yeah, it's light. I'm going to tap it onto the paint. I'm going to dab it off on the dry side of the box. And what I'm going to do is, as I'm moving the sponge, I'm going to lift up the stencil and see what I have there. Just to see if I'm using enough paint. I can add a little more paint, or can't take it off, but I like it. I like the way it's coming out. It's going to be very subtle, which is the way I like it with this, okay? Now, as the paint sits out and it starts to dry a little bit, I have to dab it off the sponge a little bit less, so I can dab it on the wet side and put it directly onto the stencil. And as long as I don't move it, I can go over it as many times as I want. Okay. Pretty. Yeah, it's very subtle. Yeah, I like it. I might put a little bit in the top corner. Not the whole, not the entire stencil, but just a piece of it. I have some acrylic paints, and I have a few brushes, you know, a large, a medium, and a small detail brush. I have some water, wipes, and I have green, 2 yellows, a white, a red. Might be getting a little bit hard, but I'll freshen them up if I need to. And I also have, color is this? It's a metallic paint, and it's kind of a bronze color. Hazelnut is called. And I'm doing the details. They're already done in the back, but I'm doing the details in the front, and I'll show you. I'm going to start at a slow speed, a normal, regular speed, but then in a couple of minutes, I'm just going to increase the speed because, you know, it's all pretty much the same. If you wanted to, you could slow it down, but what I do is I paint, and then I paint over it, and then I do details over that. So it always starts out looking like, ooh, you know, what's that? So not to worry. It's just, I just keep going over it and over it until I get the look that I want. And I'm no great painter. I'm just doing I'm going to do a little vine that starts here and goes up. It kind of follows the shading of the blending. And then I'm also doing a vine around here, just about to here, right where this, I call it a knuckle, right where this detail is on the bamboo or fake bamboo or whatever it is. Then I'm going to fill this in with the hazelnut. It's kind of a glaze, and that's it. And it will be basically done. Thank you for watching this week's video. This week I decided to, because it's so cold out and I don't want to work in the barn, I decided to work in the house. So I flipped my end tables. They were end tables that I had purchased from overstock.com. They were already painted. They're good tables, but the pieces are plastic and bamboo MDF. It had a nice paint job in the beginning, but over the years it just chipped and chipped and chipped. So what I did was I refinished it. It was really tedious work, especially doing all of the little spindles. I actually broke a spindle and had to glue it back together. I used Kasha paint, the white paint, which I think is called Khaleesi, and the dusty pink, and did a blend with it. And then I went and cut up some of my Zazzle Impressionist decoupage paper to fit 4 pieces of the same genre, and they were all takes on the Degas ballerinas, and so I got 4 of them, which I was really lucky because I wasn't quite sure what to do, and I chose the paint color before I chose the decoupage paper. Let's see, I was going to change the knobs, and I went over to grab some brass knobs from the barn, and I realized I don't have any brass single knobs. All I have are the pulls, and I didn't want to put pulls on it. I don't think it would look right. So what I did was I took the original, which weren't the original. I actually changed them out early when I first got the end tables. They were pink flowery ones, and what I did was I took the metallic paint that I did the stenciling on the top, same color. It's like a bronze, and it's very sheer, very translucent. So you can still see the artwork underneath it. But it does, at least pulls it together because of the bronze color of the knobs, kind of fills in with the colors in the decoupage papers. I did some hand painting, again, very relaxed, very, I don't say impressionist because I don't think I'm that good, but it's just to give you the effect of, okay, so there are flowers there and vines and things. I did a little detail on the turnings. I did a few different types of clear coat. The first time I did the clear coat acrylic over this bronze paint on a stencil, let it dry overnight so it would be nice and dry, but in the morning when I went to put my acrylic clear coat, it just started wiping off the bronze paint. And that was upsetting, so I had to kind of clean around it. And what I ended up doing was I sprayed it with shellac just in the spots where the stenciling is, and then I went over it with the acrylic, and then finally I went over it with flat clear coat. And I'm not going to put anything on them. I have to wait a while before I do anything as far as putting the lamps back and stuff. So I didn't even do it for staging. I just didn't want to take the chance because of the substrate of the material and the fact that the original paint wasn't that beefy as far as adhering. So anyway, I think I got a little bit more life out of them. They matched the room pretty well. I love using this paint, and yeah. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it to the end, I really appreciate it. I appreciate it. Everyone who subscribes and follows along, I really do appreciate it. And yeah, I'm very thankful for that. If you did like it, give it a thumbs up. If this is the first time watching, hey, I hope you'll come back and watch some more. I will be doing some different kinds of projects in the house. So going forward, I'm going to refinish my stairs up to the second floor. And I have a dining room table that I'm going to give a light restoration to. So I'm not going to take all the finish off and do a lot of sanding and stuff like that. So you'll see me do the removal of the shellac, a touch-up of whatever kind of coloring I need to do to get it so that it looks uniform, and then a reapplication of the shellac on the dining room table. That's an antique. And what else? I had something else. Oh, those lamps that are living in the sitting room here. I'm going to refinish those now. I won't paint the bottoms. They're nice lamps. They're kind of new. I got them from Pier 1, the old Pier 1 before it changed hands and the original went out of business. But I am going to either paint the shades, not paint, but hand paint the shades or decoupage the shades. Now on my community tab and on Instagram, I'll put out a poll, and if you follow along there, you can tell me, like, what would you rather see? Would you rather, I'll do this in the future. Would you rather see decoupage, or would you rather see hand painting on the shades? So that's it. Thank you so much again. Have a great rest of your weekend, and I wish you all good and beautiful things.